I want to welcome you guys to the best experience with Pro Strongman Nick Best. This is his show. I'm talking about Las Vegas Pro Strongman 10-time. You know what I'm saying? He's got a show, and this is the show. I'm the Angry Dad, and let me tell you something right now. I had the pleasure to work with this man. I have the pleasure to be around this man. And you know, genuine is not enough of a word to describe him. He's just one of the best all-around, beloved in the strongman community, beloved in the powerlifting community. And God fucking damn it, you know what I want to know? Nick, what inspires you to do these things? Because guess what? This is your show, and people want to get to know you. Look, let's start.
Where are you at? Where are you at on the screen, by the way?
Oh, I'm on the left.
Because it's not. The split screen is not showing you as you're talking to me.
Oh, well, I'm right here.
Well, thanks, Ben. Do you want me to go by Ben or Angry Dad?
We'll go by Ben, but as everyone gets to know, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, just call me Ben. The internet knows me as the Angry Dad, and usually when I go places, that's what I get called. So, you know what I'm saying? I always try to keep familiarity with everybody.
Right. No, that's fine. No, what inspires me? I love to lift. I love the process. I love all of it. It's kind of like with anything in life, and with Buddhism, with other things, it's a process that you go through to continually make yourself better. And that's what I like to do. And I love the process. And the reward for the process is going out and competing and having fun and getting to test yourself in an environment against other people and just have fun and the camaraderie with the guys and everything else. So that's kind of some of the reasons why I do it. I mean, I literally love to do it. And it's kind of neat that I get to make money picking up heavy stuff and running with it. And even at this age, it's still just an absolute blessing to be able to do.
Let me tell you something, Nick. Every time we go, you know what, just hanging around with you and doing the things that we've done together, you know what, you really hold your fans to like a standard that I don't see most people, because like you really give the time and effort, and that's what I love, you know, just hanging around with you, because like I said, you really carve out time for all these people, and you know, even with us doing this podcast here, and like I said, this is the first episode, so it's gonna be a little rough. It's gonna, you know what I'm saying. But the thing is like, Nick, you have a million stories, and somehow you remember every single detail, and that's the most craziest thing to me, because like I said, you literally can recall everything and anything that you've done, and in this podcast, everyone's gonna be hearing each one of these stories. So you know what I'm saying, like it's just it's so crazy to me.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, you live through it. You remember things. I'm visual anyway, so I learn by watching and observing visually. So like when I'm looking at somebody's technique, and I'll look at something, and it's weird. You'll have people look at it, and I'll look up and I'm like, move your hand here, widen them out just a bit, and then angle your foot just this much, and let's see what happens. And then boom, it comes off the ground like a lot easier. It's just, I'm used to doing things visual and learning that way. And I can usually, for the most part, recall things pretty good because of that. So
that recall, like I said, you know, we do another podcast, and with that other podcast, like you just spit out facts from years ago.
Yeah, like when Ed Cohen was taking his last warm up at a powerlifting meet at the Plaza, and I remember he had to go take it out on the platform. And I remember his last weight before his opener was 881, which he just made look like a joke out up on the platform as his last warm up. So I mean, it's just stuff like that you don't forget. You know, being at World's Strongest Man and watching the guys deadlift and sitting there yelling out the kilo conversion to Colin so they could tell people how much the weight was. You know, just stuff like that. I mean, it's fun, and I love it. I care, and you live through it. You hopefully remember things when you live through them.
Oh yeah. Now let me tell you something right now. It's just like I said, people don't understand like the key moments in time that you were around in powerlifting and in strongman. You know what I'm saying? Those markers are stamped in the world right now, and it just it's so insane. You know what I'm saying? It's just like to really know, like you even have a tie back. And I love the story because I'm a huge Raider fan. You know, we always talk about Howie Long. Howie Long is like that white whale that I'd love to get an autograph from. And you were in college doing
I was in high school.
In high school. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, they did. They used to think, this is back in the day, and I mean, they do all kinds of football camps now. But back when I was in high school, my sophomore going into my junior year, and my junior going into my senior year, I went to offense defense football camp in Riverside, California. And it wasn't taught by a couple pros. It was taught by like 20 or 30 of them. Marcus Allen was there. Eric Dickerson was there. Too Tall Jones. Lyle Alzado was there. Howie Long was there. Matt Millen. There was just a plethora of pro athletes that were there. Jim Plunkett, stuff like that. And they would go work with the teams, and there was like 10 teams, 10 offensive teams and 10 defensive teams. And all the pros would just go down and work with all the teams as they go to practice. We practiced in the morning and in the afternoon. And, it was neat. I got moved up to Team 3 in my second year there, and Howie Long's like working with us and coming over, and he's like looking at me. He's like, "You're not very big." And I mean, that time I was maybe 200 pounds, but I was really fast and really strong for my size and super aggressive. And I learned how to do an underhand rip move from Howie Long that I used all through the rest of my high school career and all through college. And it was really neat because I got most valuable defensive player at offense defense camp that year. As a nose guard. So I made that guy miss snap the ball more times than he could count. And then when he would get the ball off, I'd be to the left or to the right. I mean, they needed all three of both the guards and the center to really keep me in check and keep me from messing up the plays. So it was a lot of fun. And, walking step through step for the underhand rip move with Howie Long, and, how to rip under, and then as you get by, push back and stuff like that, where to put your feet as you're running and firing off. It was really neat. It was an amazing experience, one that I'll never forget.
Yeah, that's like I said. It's like one of those things that's like, oh man, I wish. Yeah. Like I said, it's like you were at these key moments in times, and you just stepped into them. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you went to that camp, Sonoma State. And like I said, you it's just insane. And like I don't even live that far from Sonoma State, so I'm like, I was literally there not that long ago.
Yeah.
But coming here from California, going down to Las Vegas, what I'm saying? Like I know it was a huge change, but man, you always have some great stories because I don't know if anybody here knows this, but Nick used to rollerblade.
Oh yes, yep. Oh boy, did I. Right when they first came out, too. I remember in Santa Rosa, that's where Schultz's ice skating rink was, and that's where they were selling the first roller skating blades. And we bought those things. They looked like ski boots with wheels, but we went everywhere. And I mean, I literally went everywhere with them. And then we went downhilling, so we went by Point Reyes, and one of my friends would drive the car. He'd drive it down to the bottom, and we'd go down about a mile and a half, probably going 50, 60 miles an hour in like jean jackets and stuff like that. And then get to the bottom, he'd pop the trunk, and we'd hold onto the trunk and go all the way back up to the top. And we'd sit there and do that, till we got bored, which we'd do that for hours. And then like after I turned 21, we'd go bar hopping back in the day in San Francisco on the rollerblades and come down the steep part of Lombard Street. Not the crooked part, but the straight part that comes down. That was, we had a lot of fun. It was kind of crazy. Sometimes I wonder how I made it out of some of those times. Some really bad accidents, but we were quick on our feet and pretty blessed. And we did go a little crazy from time to time, but we always knew kind of when to reel it in as well.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you got to have a little bit on the wild side as you're growing up. Because like I said, we've all done crazy shit when we're kids and then still looking at like, I don't know how we survived. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like out here in Nevada, I mean, used to be out in the desert on my bike all the time. And then as I got older, I got a dirt bike. I was on my dirt bike all the time out there riding and stuff. And that's when you learn not to buy a fiberglass gas tank, because you crash, the tank breaks, and then you got just enough gas to get the bike out of the ravine that you just managed to crash into, and then you got to push the thing back all the rest of the way home. So, yeah, so you learn things like that, but it's back in the 80s, so it's fun. It's fun growing up out here.
Oh yeah, and with this podcast, like I said, we're gonna not just dive deep into Nick, but like one thing I love about this is like, there's a lot of things that are happening. There's a lot of things going on in this world, and Nick sees it from a perspective that I love, because what it is, it's common sense, and that's a lot of things that a lot of people don't have nowadays, is that common sense, and also too, it's like people are going to get so much experience out of this podcast, because what's going to end up happening is they're going to not just learn techniques, but learn training, learn comprehension of training, and what's most important, because like Nick, you've suffered some serious injuries, and yet not just serious injuries, but overcoming cancer and all this like crazy stuff. Because like I said, it's insane to me that you're still standing here and you're still freaking lifting. Like, it wasn't that long ago he was deadlifting like, was it 500 pounds or 600 pounds for fucking 600 pounds, had cancer, wasn't 100% sure, but still repped it out, did a strongman show, came in second. And it's just like, most people don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like you were in shape, you were ready, you were prepared. But the thing is like in the back of your head this whole freaking time, this injury. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Walk these people, because like there's a timeline of this lat all the way down to what's recent.
Yeah. With the kidney and the cancer and stuff like that, I was just getting back to bench pressing 500 pounds again, from tearing my lat off a year and a half before this, and then having it surgically reattached and coming back from that. And there were some issues dealing with that. One, the lat was still a little bit numb, and then two, he hit some nerves going to the tricep. So for like the first 12 weeks, I couldn't even lift a 2-pound weight with the tricep on my left arm, which it heavily atrophied. So a lot of the work was getting that back to normal and pushing and driving with the tricep and balancing that out so I'm not benching lopsided. So, I mean, it took a while. I mean, I came back within a year and still benched 462, but getting to that 500-pound barrier was still pretty difficult. And then I was just getting back to that, and I was taking it's like my first semi-heavy set. I was doing 425 because I just did 375 for 3. I was going to hit 425 for a single and kind of just blast it off. And my thumbs around the bar, it just pops out of my hands and landed straight on the middle of my chest.
I watched that video multiple times because it's like, how? And it literally, like, the way your thumbs were, it's like it lifted out of your hand and then roll and just like it jumped a hurdle because you got fucking mitts on you. Yeah. I don't drop much. I mean, farmers walkways. I'm one of the world record.
I might have a world record there, and then I'm one of the few people who actually picked 500 pounds on the farmers and actually get some steps with them. So, for it to come out of my hands like that, it almost felt like somebody took it out of my hands and dropped it on me, because the weight was heavy enough to cause trauma, but not serious enough to cause like long-term injury that, other than, a month to 2 months of healing, I'd be fine from.
Yeah, bruised ribs.
Yeah, I hit hematoma, bruised ribs, and that was like a little bit of bleeding on the inside over on my right side, but nothing too major. But they did a CT scan to look, because that's how we know it wasn't that major. And they had an incidental finding. They found a tumor in my kidney that was still stage 1, but getting close to stage 2 on the size of it. Turned out in the end, it was a third of the size of my kidney inside the blood filtering part of my kidney. So it never made it into the urinary tract or anything else. So when they were able to take the kidney out, that got it. But so that was hanging on my head. That was October 12th when we found out about it. And then a month later was OSG, which I knew I wasn't going to be at my best because I couldn't balance much overhead. I was just getting to where I could train a sandbag, and I didn't even try the stones for like the last 5-6 weeks due to that, not knowing what. But I just figured I don't know if I'd ever get to do another one because I don't know what's going to happen with the kidney. So I went and competed anyway, and got second to Mark Felix, who won, which that guy's still amazing. There's no shame in that whatsoever. You know, it was an honor to go and compete with him and George and everybody else that was there. I mean, it was a really good competition for the three of us. I just went and did the best I could and ended up in second place, and was pretty happy about that. 2 weeks later, went to the Olympia, and then went to Stan's area. I would call
it Rhino Cage.
The Rhino Cage that didn't have a cage.
It did.
The Rhino area. And I didn't want to pull heavy because I hadn't pulled heavy. I'd been training for reps for probably more than half the year. So I, just had to pull 600 for reps at OSG at Masters World Strongest Man. So figured I'd just pull 600 for reps there, and it felt pretty good. I pulled 15, and then got to 15 and was like, I'm not getting paid any extra for this. This is good.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just doing it for the show at the moment. You know what I'm saying? I ain't hitting any records.
Right. No, but it was cool. So that was a lot of fun. It was a ball doing that in front of all those people, and then getting to talk to people and see people and hang out with them. And I mean, people are the blessing and why we do this. Without them, we don't have a sport. We don't have anybody coming to watch. So I'm always appreciative of them. And then I work very hard. And if people are nice and polite and want to come up and talk to me and ask me some questions and I have time for them, I have no problem with that. I have no problem taking pictures with people, no problem signing autographs. I just love giving back to the people that gave so much to me. And without them, I don't have anything. So, and you only get one opportunity to make a first impression on somebody. And, it's funny, the guy that I learned that from is kind of so as far as some of the smarter and unsmarter things he's done. But I met a guy named Jesse James with West Coast Choppers and stuff like that. And he had been like super busy and doing all this crazy stuff. But they had just built the Trans Am for Coors, and I worked for the Coors distributor, and we had to give it away at the Palms, so I had to be there. And I got to, at the end of the 3 hours that he was in there, and you could tell the guy was dog tired. I mean, just constantly inundated by
people, photos, autographs.
Yeah, all for hours upon hours, and people just talking to him. And right at the end of the day, I'm like, man, it is absolutely amazing to meet you. I know you're swamped and been doing this all day. Just wanted to take a second and say thank you. He goes like, no problem. He goes, look, man, if these are the people, without these people, we don't have anything. So I'll always take my time, because you could be having a bad day, and that's the only impression I'll ever have of you, and that's what they'll think of you. And I don't want people thinking of me that way. And I was like, that's a good bit to learn from. And then you can learn from anybody. You literally can pick up a bit of something from anybody. Some of the best people, some of the worst people, they will still have something that you can learn from on whether to do or not to do. And that's the way kind of people need to look at things, I think. We're not trying to learn from everybody anymore. If somebody has an opposite point of view from them, they don't sit there and try to have a dialogue or a discussion and find out why their point of view is that way and why their justification for it, or what makes them see, and come to a common ground and maybe understand them, and they can understand both sides. Maybe you won't agree, but if you can figure out a way to understand both sides, then maybe we can cohabitate a little better. And our world is really struggling with that right now. everything is about division. Everything is about segregation and compartmentalism of everything. And it's sad, and I would like to see that change. I really would. I mean, we should be able to go talk to people and not agree with them, and still be able to be civil and everything else with them, and then maybe have a better understanding of why they think that way. Because there's people I'm not going to agree with, and there's people that are not going to agree with me. I put up a Facebook post of me doing like iso rows on a hammer strength machine. Those are iso rows, and your chest is off. And this, but I'm training for a purpose. I'm not a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
I don't care if my form on the machine is perfect, as long as it's a form that's not going to hurt me, and the form I use is not going to hurt me at all. I'm not going to get an injury from it. But what I am going to do, what it is going to do, is help me yank sandbags off the ground and Atlas stones off the ground fast. I have to train, and people have to train a different way. Yet all the CrossFitters and bodybuilders will sit there and just blast you, and it's just like, no, dude. I am a powerlifter and I'm a strongman. I've done World's Strongest Man. I have to pick things up that are stupid heavy and stupid awkward, and literally be able to run with them fast.
Yeah. Or rep them out.
Or rep them out. For sure.
Yeah, they might be getting sick. They might be hit that 600, but it's one.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I got to be able to pull it for anywhere between 10 and 18 reps.
Exactly.
So,
for a victory. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no kidding. And I don't think there's a clear understanding of there's more than one way to do something. That's how I do that. And the same with the low rows. I mean, I pull in, but I don't stretch far forwards. I don't do all those things, because what I'm going to do that for is I'm mainly working the jerking motion and the pulling motion of lapping that stone and getting it into my lap from the ground into the lap. And that movement is a way to train without going to the gym and doing stones.
Yeah.
And you try to explain it to people, and they don't get it. And then the people that make comments like they know better are, stick figures, or they're skinny fat, or you look at it, it's just like, are you just really trying to cause aggravation to other people? Like, literally troll and bother them?
Yeah, haters are going to be haters. And, and they come in every shape and size.
And I get that. I mean, there's certain things, if you don't understand or you don't like something what somebody's doing, you can always ask, wow, that's unusual. Why are you doing that? You don't have to, and then they can explain why they're doing that, and maybe you'll understand, or maybe you won't. But you don't have to agree with why they're doing it, but just ask them why they're doing it instead of, that's wrong. It's like, dude, seriously? I've done the world's 10 times. There's only 7 humans to have ever done that.
Yeah, exactly. 7.
Ever.
Yeah.
And
that's less than 0.0001% of the world.
That's in the billionth percentile.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because if there's 7 billion people on the planet and you're in the top 7, hence you're in the billionth percentile.
That's it.
And then powerlifting, being world champion and squatting over 800 and deadlift and totaling over 2,000 for 26 years, which goal is to do 27 this year. I've done a lot, and I've maintained it for a very, very long time.
Yep.
I know how to keep my body in shape, and anybody pushing to a world-class level is going to run into an injury, no matter what.
It's bound to happen.
The goal is to never get hurt in training and to try to get hurt as little as possible at contests and stuff like that, but it happens. And if you're going to compete in a sport, you got to realize you're going to get hurt.
Yep.
So learn as much as you can to heal from things the best as possible to get back to being in great shape and competing, or find your new norm and then develop from there. I mean, when I tore my pec, before I tore my pec, my best raw bench press ever was 635. Will I get to that again? Probably not. but I might be able to get up to about 550 again. That's my new norm. It's just it might not get over as high as it was, but it can still get up pretty high.
Yep.
So
550, like there's only a handful of people that are doing that, especially for reps.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of like, okay, well, I'll make it for it in the squat, I'll make it for it in the deadlift, and try to keep improving those lifts.
Hell yeah.
But there's no stopping. There's no, there's no reason. If you love doing something, go do it.
Exactly.
Enjoy your life, because there's only so many days that we have on the planet, and it's a blessing to be alive and do things and go experience the world and experience other people. You might not agree with the way they live or what they do or everything else, but just understand they're other people. And as long as they're good and they're kind to other people and they're not doing anything to hurt anyone else, enjoy your life. Enjoy the day.
That's it. All right, Nick, we're getting to this part of the podcast. I want you to give me a top 3, and I'm going to give you a couple of categories. All right. Post-workout snack, 3.
Post-workout snack. It's not, we don't even need to go to 3. I mean, it's beef and rice.
There we go.
It's pretty simple. Or like a brisket and rice, or a tri-tip and rice, something like that. And then I'll have a glucose drink shortly after I get done training, and then drink a lot of fluids, and then about an hour after that I'll actually eat.
There we go. Now, top 3 actual snacks that you're not supposed to eat.
Chocolate, cookies, and ice cream.
There we go. You know what I'm saying? Ice cream is always key. You know what I'm saying? I always like to say it's a fast dissolving carbohydrate.
It is a fast dissolving carbohydrate, among other things. Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're a young kid and you're trying to pack on weight, a little bit of ice cream, your protein, and peanut butter in there, that's going to help pack on some weight if you have a shake like that or 2 during the day.
Oh, yeah.
But at my age, I'm not trying to pack the weight on anymore. I'm just trying to hold, firm between 290 and 310.
That's it.
So now I'm just trying to eat a little better and eat food that performs for my body better. And if I can make it taste good, that's even better.
And I know this, I know the answer to this one, but typically when I come down to see you, we enjoy some sushi. So give us 3 sushis that are always your go-to, because I know what they are.
Tuna nigiri, salmon nigiri, and there's one called My Ass is on Fire.
That is it.
And it's a really, really hot one. I do like spicy foods. I'll eat it and I'll sweat quite a bit, but those are probably my 3 go-tos for sushi.
And then for everyone here, I need you guys to understand, he orders 10 orders at a time.
Yeah, so
it's a huge tray.
Yeah, it's a big tray. For nigiri, I think my record's like 88 pieces in a sitting.
Exactly.
Which I think you can eat more than that.
Well, I do food. I've done food challenges my entire life, so it's like dusting them off is not that hard.
You're a professional.
I'm professional. You know what I'm saying?
But I do like to eat. It's fun, but I also hate eating. Out of everything, when you're really trying to pack on the size and you're really trying to get bigger and put on more muscle mass, the actual biggest chore is eating, because you just get tired of it, and you need to take in decent calories. You can't just eat heavy caloric foods, eat a bunch of ice cream and cheesecake and stuff. Like, you can't eat some, but the overwhelming majority of the food you need to be eating is good quality food. Your rice, your steak, your beef, your buffalo, a little bit of chicken, salmon, tuna fish, stuff like that. It's what your main staples are. So
Yeah.
though, and eating that every 3 hours can be a pain.
Working with Nick, he's actually turned me on to a certain way of eating. Because like typically I'd always eat just rice, ground beef, and just literally like a little bit of vegetables, mix it up in a bowl and eat it. But I've actually added bone broth, and I've added cottage cheese, and I've definitely implemented the cashews in almost every one of my meals, because like the texture change, it's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like I said, I eat the same way you eat, and it's like it's monotonous sometimes, because you're like, oh, I have to carve it out. It's so important. But like the little tweaks that you've given me, I'm just like, oh, okay, it's just a little bearable now.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing, is to be successful. You don't necessarily need to be miserable. You just need to find, like I said, I eat for a purpose, and then I try to find ways to make my food taste better and be more appealing, so that it's not such a chore, and it's not such one of those things that you're just like, oh, I gotta go eat again. It's like, all right, man, I get to go eat again, and you make it actually taste good at the same time, as well as get function out of it. That's the biggest key to it, to being successful.
That's it. Ellie, let me tell you something right now. Like I said, you've helped me be a little more successful at it, because like I said, that little tweak is just definitely upped my game. You know?
Yeah.
And for most people that are watching and those who are listening, Nick's actually recording in his gym, and his gym is his garage. But the thing is, it's a destination. You know what I'm saying? People travel the world to show up to your gym, and you literally have the basics, but you have everything. That's the part. It's like most people don't understand. It's like, no, you like if you had to name a key piece in your gym, what would that key piece be?
Probably my squat rack, actually, because you can squat, bench out of it, but you can do other things out of it. You can do rack pulls out of it. You can do bent over rows out of it. You can do overhead pressing out of it. You can do a ton of stuff with it. So, a squat rack that you can bench out of is really key. Instead of or jack stands is what they are, and you can adjust the height and stuff like that, move them in, move them out. There's so many different exercises I can get out of that. And then the next thing is, instead of buying a squat rack, buying jerk boxes, because you can do everything that you can in a rack off a jerk box, except for you can do more things with the jerk boxes. I mean, it's like an endless supply of different heights and sizes, and so you can use them as safety for your squats. You can use them for block pulls and deficit pulls and just all kinds of stuff, step ups. So it's a really kind of a neat thing. So instead of buying a rack, buy jerk boxes and squat stands, and you can actually get way more exercises out of them.
That's it. Now, if you had to put a name to not a name to the gym, I'm trying to phrase it in a smart way, but I'm not that smart. Right. Who has trained in your gym that you were like most like fanboyed out? You know what I'm saying? Someone that showed up to your gym, showed up to your garage, and was like, "Oh shit, this person's here at my house."
Geez, Ryback, Frank Mir, those are two of the guys, and I mean, still friends with Frank. I talk to Ryback every once in a while. Those were like that. But most of the people that come out here, I know. Jeez, I mean, there's so many people that have been out here. Eddie's been here. Eddie Hall. Brian's been in here training. Thor's been in here training. I mean, the list goes.
Oh, it's on.
You know, he can come out here and train, but now we have to wait a little while for Kelly to not be angry before you come here and stay in.
That's on. All right.
Yeah, so it's really hard to say. I mean, who the one person that it's just been so. It's just so cool when people come out here.
Hell yeah. All right, Nick. we're going to end this podcast, and we're going to end it just like we end every one of your videos. Nick has a saying, and I always want you guys to remember it because it's the fucking truth.
Yeah. That's it for the best experience today. Want you to go home. I want you to train hard, train smart, and always be the best you can be.